Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tulare Public Library. I'm so happy to be here for another version of On the Shelf. Today, we are tying our Reader's Advisory Program into our upcoming summer reading program, the theme of which is going to be Reading Colors Your World. Kat and I are really excited to give you our interpretations of how these books fit, but I did want to let you know to stay tuned because the reading program will be happening from June 15th to July 20th. We're excited to offer a reading program for all ages, and you can log your reading for the chance to win really great prizes. So stay tuned to our website. We will have more information forthcoming, or give us a call here at the library, and we will be happy to give you those details about how to get signed up and join along with us this summer. All right, so the first book that I'm going to be talking about today is my only fiction selection. It is called The 30 Names of Night by Zain Jukadar. This is a really wonderful book from two different points of view. A young artist who lost his mother a couple of years ago finds the journal of an artist 2 generations older than him. This book is a really wonderful exploration of a lost painting, but along the way, the narrator gets to explore gender identity, connections to community and family, among many other things. One of the things that I really liked about this book as well is in the characters talking about themselves and their neighborhood and their cuisine, a lot of Arabic words are mixed in. So it gives you a real sense of time and place and really does expand your horizons as a reader to better understand Syrian American culture because the characters immigrated from there. So again, I'm choosing this one because I thought it was just a wonderful portrait of a Syrian American family and a really great way to dive into an adventure mystery that explores so much more than that. All right, Kat, over to you.
All right, thank you. Well, my first book is The Color of B. Larkham's Murder by Sarah J. Harris. So this book is about Jasper. He's not ordinary. Some people would say he was even extraordinary. He has synesthesia, which is a condition in which information meant to stimulate one of your senses actually stimulates more than one. So with him, he's able to hear color. And so this paints the sounds of his world in a kaleidoscope of colors that no one else can see. But on Friday, he discovered a new color, the color of murder. So he's sure that something happened to his neighbor, B. Larkham, but no one seems to be taking him seriously. The knife and the screams are all mixed up in his head, and he's scared that he can't quite remember things clearly. But where is his neighbor? Why hasn't she come home? Jasper must uncover the truth about that night, including the role he may have played in that. So this book is not only a really exciting mystery story, but the descriptions of the colors that he sees is just fascinating. It's just a riot of colors that you can practically see jumping off the page. This was a very interesting and colorful choice for your summer reading.
Oh, I love that. All right, my next selection is actually a nonfiction book. This is Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson, who some may be familiar with as one of the astrophysicists who kind of brings that information to the layman. I know it's a small book and there's not a ton of pop of color in the cover, but the reason that I thought that this tied in was I love the idea, and you'll notice the sizing of this one compared to the other two. I love the idea of having such a small, almost pocket-sized book contain all the mysteries of the universe and its infinity. So this is a really interesting book. It's meant to be a brief but meaningful introduction to the field of astrophysics and the universe for people that don't have the time to watch documentaries, read textbooks, or take classes. It talks about everything from the Big Bang Theory to black holes, quarks to quantum mechanics, the search for planets to the search for life in the universe. And if you're like me and you don't recognize all of those terms, this is a great starting point for you. Another really great thing that he does in this book is really mark time in a way that we understand, as part of seconds or hours. So it really, really gives you such a general sense of the breadth of time and the universe and our place in it. Again, I just thought it tied in nicely to the Reading Colors Your World because this is a great way to really carry some of the answers to the universe along with you. And that's my second selection. All right, Kat, over to you.
Very nice. Okay, so this book is Shades of Grey by Jasper Fforde, an author that I've recommended before. I find his work just really fascinating, kind of science fiction, fantasy, but just lots else going on in the story. This book is about Eddie Russet, a man who lives in a community in a undefined future after some sort of event happened, which never really gets discussed, but obviously some things have changed in a major way. People are only able to see certain colors, and the colors that they're able to see establishes the hierarchy in which their society runs. So he is russet, so he can only see shades of red, which is it's pretty high up on the hierarchy, but he's not able to see anything else. And people who see yellow can't see other colors either, which makes night especially terrifying because without light, they can't see anything at all. So let me see. Everyone abides by a bizarre regime of rules and regulation, a system of merits and demerits where punishment can result in permanent expulsion from their community. Eddie, who works for the Color Control Agency, might well have lived out his rose-tinted life without a hitch, but that changes when he becomes smitten with Jane Grey, which is a low caste in this color world. She's only able to see shades of gray. She shows Eddie that not as well with the world as he thinks, and together they engage in dangerous revolutionary talk. So it's a really exciting rebellion going on, a system of government that we have never seen or heard of before. And again, just all the discussion of color in this book just makes it just completely fascinating, a world that only Jasper Fforde could have created.
Wow. I'm definitely adding that one to my reading list. I'm entranced listening to that description. All right, so my next selection is another nonfiction book. This is called Reading is My Window, Books and the Art of Reading in Women's Prisons by Megan Sweeney. And the reason I chose this one, the title in itself lends to the theme, and it's literally suggesting, that in some cases reading can color people's world in the way that that's the primary way that they're receiving information, and their primary, outlook on life. As we all know, low-income women of color are disproportionately incarcerated, and the author of this book foregrounds the voices of these women. It contains interviews with 94 different female prisoners, and the author examines how incarcerated women use reading to come to terms with their past, negotiate their presents, and reimagine their futures. The book includes excerpts from those interviews. It includes photographs of these women's reading records, so you really get a personal account of how reading in this environment really changes these women's lives. This book is also fascinating because it includes a history of reading and education in the US penal system. The author analyzes the 3 most popular genres that are taken out of prison libraries among these female prisoners. And it really explores the idea that with increasing dehumanization of prisoners, it has resulted in diminished prison libraries and restricted opportunities for reading. So as a counterpoint to that, the author really looks at how these prisoners educate and empower themselves through reading, and how reading these materials really help them maintain connection to the outside world. So a really, really fascinating read. And very apropos of this time and kind of understanding those issues.
That is a great connection to color. Thank you. My last book does not have color in the title, but I just found the author's name, Rainbow Rowell, was just perfect for this. This book here is a romance novel. It's just a fun, sweet book. It starts with Beth and Jennifer know that someone is monitoring their work emails. Everybody knows this, it's company policy, but they can't quite bring themselves to take it seriously. So they go on sending each other endless, hilarious emails discussing every aspect of their personal lives. Meanwhile, Lincoln O'Neill can't believe that this is his job now, reading other people's emails for work. When he applied to be an internet security officer, he pictured himself building firewalls and catching hackers, not writing up reports every time a sports reporter forwards a dirty joke. When Lincoln comes across Beth and Jennifer's messages, he knows that he should turn them in, but he can't bring himself to do that. He is entertained and captivated by their stories. By the time Lincoln realizes he's falling for Beth, it's too late to tell her how he knows her. What would he say to her? I'm the guy who's reading your emails and I love you. So he's stuck knowing, very personal aspects of her life, feeling very connected to her, which was his job, and he can't tell her. So how do these two end up? It seems impossible, but it's just a charming, quirky, kind of creepy story. Someone's reading their emails, but it was just a really fun, light romantic comedy by Rainbow Rowell.
Sounds amazing.
All right, well, thank you for joining us today. It's always fun pulling books together to discuss together. I hope that you have an opportunity to check some of these books out. Remember, these are pulled directly from our shelves. They're available for checkout as of today. So it was nice to talk to you all today. Have a great afternoon.